Hello, Alia and Edouard. I'm fine. How are you? Let me make sure the settings are working right today. Microphone. Yes. Okay, it looks like it's fine. Good. What are we going to do today? Well, I thought I would just answer some questions, kind of free form, because I haven't been online very much recently. So maybe you guys have some questions you want to ask me. Husky voice. What do you mean? It's not hot outside. It's actually rainy and cool today. One moment. I'll be right back. 1 second, okay? Okay. Sorry. Just wanted to get my hat. My hair feels too out of control today. All right. Let's see. The questions begin. What's the best way to improve your speaking skills? Well, that depends on what you mean by improve your speaking skills. If you just need practice, then sure, you need to speak more, but that means you need a plan. Um, so you should try to find native speakers, of course, either in person or online. For interviews, well, that's actually different. That's speaking at an interview is not the same as speaking anywhere else. So there are two good things you could do to prepare for speaking for interviews. One is practice more interviews. And the best way to do that is just to go apply for a job that you don't even want. Apply for a job that you're not interested in, but go to the interview to get practice with interviews. Okay? And when you go to an interview, people are nervous. So if you do it a few times, you'll be less nervous. Okay? So that would be one thing I would suggest is go do some interviews. But you can also do some practice interviews with ChatGPT. Tell ChatGPT that you want to practice your English interview, your interview English, right? Interview English, and then tell it what job you're applying for, right? Tell it you're applying for a job in customer service, or you're applying for a job in hotel management, or you're applying for a job in hospitality. Tell it that you are applying for some kind of a job, and it will make the interviews specific for that job. Okay, it's actually pretty good at doing situational preparation. So if you tell it what situation you want to be in, it can give you that situation. You can practice being at a coffee house on ChatGPT. You can order food on ChatGPT. You can practice ordering food, right? So those are the two things I would do. All right? All right, and Kira says, what languages do I know except English, and do I think it's a good idea to learn two languages at the same time and improving the other one? So I know English and I know Chinese pretty well. I'm not a master or anything, but I can speak okay. I can express myself. Um, I know a little bit about many other languages. I've studied a little bit about many languages, like 13 of them maybe. Just a little. I like to dip my toes into understanding a few words in many languages. Okay? Do I think it's a good idea to learn more than one language at the same time? I think that depends on you, on your personality. There are some people who are completely okay with that, but it also depends on which languages you choose. If you learn Italian and Spanish at the same time, those are very related languages, which could be beneficial or could make it more difficult or could be more confusing if you forget the differences between the two, right? So that also becomes a problem. When you have two languages, if you do Chinese and Spanish, those are two very different languages. So that could be good if you prefer to not be confused by the differences, or it could be bad because there's no relationship between them. So everything you learn is separated. Is it a good idea? You know the answer to that, Kira. Can you learn two languages at the same time? Of course you can. Is it harder? Of course it is. So, should you do it? That's up to you. That's up to you. I think what I would suggest is if you're attempting to do it that way, I would approach each language as trying to learn a practical ability and not a perfect knowledge, right? So instead of trying to have a perfect knowledge of German, just learn a practical ability to speak it. That's very different, okay? And that's why I suggest using travel phrase books. Okay, the first book you should get to learn a language is a travel phrase book. They're great. And hello, Flavia. What does doggone it mean? Doggone it means it's a funny way to say a bad, well, not a bad word, but it's a funny way to say God damn it. Doggone it is from doggummit, which is a weird backwards old way to say gosh darn it, which is a weird way to say god damn it. Okay, so a long time ago they used to have all these ways of saying bad things without saying bad things, right? So instead of saying oh my god, they'd say oh my gosh, instead of saying I don't know. There are many examples. They're euphemistic curse words. Okay? All right. Sorry. Bruce, hello. Hello. How are you? Good to see you again. Thank you, Tony. I'm glad you like my or my hat. Grace, hello, Grace. You want to show me something? Sure, Grace.
It's
Wow,
nice
look
to
at
meet
you,
you.
Grace. What's up, man? Good to see you again. Look at you, fishing on the boat. I am so jealous, man. I'm so jealous. Wow, what a
I'm
beautiful
trolling
day.
live bait. Yeah, I'm trolling.
Yeah, trolling live bait. What are you trolling for? Do you know what you guys are going to catch?
Yeah, no catches today, but I'm trying to have three mackerels
Ah,
as live
okay.
bait, and I'm waiting for the, I hope they bite.
Okay. What do you guys usually catch?
Oh, snappers or
Snappers.
tuna,
Okay,
or
tuna.
maybe
Yum.
groupers, or but
Wow.
yeah, depends on.
Yeah, but those three are all delicious. Yeah.
Bluefish or learfish as well.
Okay. Wow. Man, I'm so jealous. I love fishing. I love fishing, and I've only been ocean fishing a few times. Uh, when I was a kid, I went deep sea fishing a few times. In Florida once and in Cape Cod once. And it was great. But yeah, I live in Ohio. I'm very far away from the ocean, so I can go river fishing, I can go lake fishing, but I don't have any oceans around me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how are you doing? What about the music or your job or I mean anything?
Things are things, man. You know, life is life. C'est la vie. You know, we live in interesting times. I think anybody who says life is good right now is not really very honest. You know, even on a fishing boat, you're on a beautiful fishing boat. It's a beautiful day, but still, there are a lot of terrible things happening in the world right now, and it's kind of
Yeah,
hard
that's
to
true.
just ignore all that. You know, so. Well, I think I'm doing okay. You know, again, I think life is interesting right now. Life is entering a really. I feel like we're entering a new point in human history where we're starting to pay attention a little bit more to things that we didn't used to. So I don't know. It's interesting. I'm doing
Yeah,
okay.
great.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. It's um, I want to work more on my videos and I just did a show recently. It was fun. Uh, Actually, this hat is from my show. I played a show in Sun Valley, Idaho. It's a big ski resort way out west in America, and beautiful place. And it was the most beautiful stage I've ever had. We were on stage outside, and the mountain is right in front of us with people skiing down the mountain as we're playing music. It was great. It was beautiful. Yeah, we played blues music,
Great.
a lot of Jimi Hendrix and ZZ
Yeah,
Top, and you know, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a great
great
blues
job.
show.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, how about you?
Oh yeah, it's good. I'm still teaching at school in the mornings, but I think by the end of June, it's gonna be over, and my students will have their exam. Their first real exam. The second cycle at school, lower secondary school here, 3 years is. I think in America is something else, but anyway,
Yeah.
they have to do their exam, and in the summertime, I've got already something like 75 gigs
Wow.
scheduled.
Wow. Wow, man. I really do hope, you know, I didn't get a chance to go to Italy this time when I went to my trip to Europe, but I really want to go to Italy next time because I have some friends there like you that I would love to go see. And man, I would love to play a show. We should put together a show and
Yeah,
do that would be really
if you
fun.
come here, I think we have to jam
Yeah,
together.
of course.
I look
Definitely.
for a gig somewhere. I
Yeah,
have many
absolutely.
acquaintances here,
Yeah,
many
definitely.
colleagues, and it's really possible.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to do that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, Grace, oh, by the way, is that your own boat?
Yeah, it's my boat.
Wow. I am
Yeah,
so jealous, man. I am so jealous. That's beautiful. That's
yeah.
beautiful. What's the name of your boat?
Grace, just like me,
Just like
and the
you,
brand
Grace.
is
Okay, all right.
Cessa Dorado
Okay, Dorado. Okay,
22.
all
It's
right.
like 6 meters and a half, plus the outboard engine,
Okay.
and it's good because I have a very large bed. We can sleep in 3 people, and I have a tiny toilet. I have the shower,
Yeah.
and it's very good for
Wow.
fishing, as you see. So it's really interesting for me. I mean, in my spare time, it's just crossing the sea and nothing else.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, but no, that's beautiful, man. Again, I always wished I could have a boat and be able to get out on the water, just go fishing for a day. Yeah, things I've always dreamt of. But I'm so jealous. I'm so envious.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
hope you catch something, man. Good luck to you. I hope you
yeah,
catch something, and yeah, come back and show us some pictures if you catch something.
yeah. Okay. Thank you for picking me up. I think I have to go because I have to change direction of the boat.
Okay.
Otherwise, I go against the rocks.
Okay. All right. All right. Don't want that to happen. All right. Take care, my friend. Good to see you again. Take care. Bye bye. Well, that was fun. Okay. Did I miss any other questions? If you have questions about English, ask me your questions. Let's see. The best way to improve English writing skills. Gray, again, that depends on what your writing skill problems are, and it depends on what your writing goals are. So, are you trying to write for school or work? Are you trying to write academically, scientific papers? Are you trying to write news articles? What are you trying to write exactly? That helps to know because it depends on, that's going to make a difference in depending on what you're going to work on, right? But the number one easiest way to work on your writing in any language right now is with ChatGPT. Just tell ChatGPT, I need to improve my English writing skills. Can you help me? Ask it to assess your writing first. So say, can you please assess my writing if I write some examples for you? Right? So then write a paragraph or two, write a short story or something, and ask it to assess your writing, to look at it, analyze it, and see what you did wrong. Then it can help you to develop your writing skills and figure out what to do best. Okay? The reason why ChatGPT is so great for writing, working on your writing, is because it can help you to find your problems very quickly. Everything that you write into it, it knows, it remembers, and so you can ask it, what do I usually do wrong? You can say, what are my common mistakes? And then once you find your common mistakes, now you can really figure out how to fix them. All right, so definitely 100% the best way to work on your writing skills in any fashion is using AI. Okay? For university studies, so then that's academic writing. So that's what you should do. You should tell ChatGPT, I need to improve my English academic writing skills. And then I would also suggest you need to read academic writing as well, right? Um, Go to scientificamerican.com. If you go to scientificamerican.com, I think that's the right website, um, they have articles that are band 8 level reading. Band 8, that's like, academic level, scientific writing. Okay? So you can go to there and read a lot of that. Okay? You can also go to TED Talks, although those are for talking, not for writing. But still, they'll give you, listening to people speak can give you some ideas sometimes about how to write also. Okay? Can I say balmy weather today? Yeah, sure. Yeah, balmy is a good word. Yeah, we don't use it that much anymore, but There's no reason why you can't. Balmy, it's mild, right? Uh, it's, yeah, I would say balmy just means a mild day. Okay, so if it's mild out, then yeah, it's balmy. You prefer to use ChatGPT more than Google Translate? Well, sure. I mean, those are two different tools, but okay. You just wrote an essay, and then I went to ChatGPT and estimate and find mistakes really in 1 second. It also suggests the best options. Right, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You can write everything you do. It's just like having an editor, you know, a writing editor, a writing teacher who's there all the time, right? So you can just keep writing, and it will keep giving you suggestions on how to write better. All right. Helen says, I like DeepSeek. Helen, I like rock and roll and I like jazz music. They're both good. ChatGPT is good, so is DeepSeek. There are a bunch of AI tools that are good. It's a silly argument to talk about which one is better. Rock and roll is good, and so is jazz. Okay, so don't have silly arguments about which one is better. Use them both. Okay? What about plagiarism for scientific articles? What do you mean? What about plagiarism? What about it? I don't understand what your question is. You should read scientific articles because that's how you know what scientific articles sound like, right? So if you're looking for scientific articles to read, that will help you to understand how to write in that manner. Not the same exact words, but the manner of writing, right? You have to become familiar with that manner of writing, okay? Oh, I haven't tried Dobal. Salah Gamal, there are 11 people in the team, there are 11 people on the team. Both are correct. They both describe it differently. You could say either one. They both. In and on can often be used interchangeably, and there's no significant difference in the meaning except for a semantic difference. Okay, just a semantic difference. So, some people might say there are 11 people in the team. Some people might say there are 11 people on the team. On the team is definitely the more common phrase, but that doesn't mean in the team is wrong. Okay? Can I explain reported speech? Okay. What is a reporter? Salah, what is a reporter? What's the difference? There is no difference. 都可以，差不多的意思。Okay, Helen? 一些人他们说 in the team， 一些人他们说 on the team， 都可以，随便。Okay? Salah, do you know what a reporter is? If you know what a reporter is, then you know what reported speech is. Reporters, they go on TV or on the radio and they tell you what happened. They say, this person said this, and at this time then they did this, and they went here, and after that they did this. They are telling you what happened. That is reported speech. Okay, that is reported speech. She said she was going. That's reported speech. I'm telling you what happened. Okay? That's what you do. All right? Let's see. Richard wants to know about antipathy, empathy, sympathy, pathetic, sociopathy. Is there any affinity among these words according to the etymology? Yeah, there is. Right. The word path comes from the Greek word pathos, which means to feel. If I remember right, let me double check on that. Right. Yeah, pathos meaning feeling. That's right. Yeah. So antipathy. Anti means against, right? So what is antipathy? Do you guys know what antipathy means? Antipathy means to have like a natural aversion, like you don't like something naturally, you just don't like it. Okay, so anti means against, pathos means feeling. So antipathy means to have bad feelings against something. Okay, empathy, again, pathos meaning feeling, and empathy, the M is, I think, with. Let me check. Um, in. I'm sorry. In. Uh, it, so empathy, the root meaning is in feeling. Um, so it means like in the same feeling as someone, right? To have empathy is to say, oh, well, I understand what you're feeling, right? In feeling, okay? Sympathy, though, is a little bit different, um, but it has the same root. Again, pathos meaning feeling. Sympathy. So sympathy, the sin means together. So sympathy is when you say, I'm sorry for your loss. Empathy is when you say, I understand how you feel. I think that's kind of a good way to think about it, okay? Pathetic. Uh, let's look at that one to be sure. So this one, pathetos. Yeah, okay, it does. It still comes from the word meaning to feel, but it's actually meaning to suffer. So pathetic is slightly different, a slightly different root. It's a very distant cousin, but kind of. Sociopath is related. Socio meaning people and path meaning feeling. So sociopath means sociopathy means the feeling of a person or the feeling of people. Okay, a certain kind of feeling. Okay. How do you teach English to a 6-year-old? Sonny, you start simply with games and fun. Um, you should play games that have English. You should let your kid watch Peppa Pig. Peppa Pig is great, or little cartoons that have English. That's great. You should not be giving your child a lot of homework at that age. You should allow them to learn through play and through experiential learning, right? So every time you give them an apple to eat, you should say the word apple in English. 你要吃苹果吗？你可以说 apple 吗？说 apple. Okay? That's all. Every time that they want some water, try to teach them the word water. Every time they want to, play with their toy, teach them the word toy, right? But don't do it in a way that is too aggressive, okay? Learning and teaching, it's like starting a fire, okay, in a camp. And when you start a fire in a camp, you have to build it carefully or you could blow it out. And that's the same with children. And I see it happen too often, a lot, especially in Asia. In Asia, you guys are so worried about your kids learning, which is good, but you overdo it. And so I see many people kill the fire when the fire is so young. What I mean is, an 8-year-old child should not be burned out by school. But I saw many, when I was teaching in Taiwan, I saw lots of kids who were burned out by the time they're 8, 9, 10 years old. They already hate learning because you've made learning torture. They hate it. You've required it. You've made it work. You've made it torture. You've made it punishment. And now you've turned learning into something they don't want to do. That's the worst thing you can do to a child. That's the worst thing you can do to a learner, is make them hate learning. So don't push too much. Create the English environment that you can. That's a passive environment. Write notes on everything in your apartment or your house, right? Table, chair, door, window, cup. Write some notes so they can see the Chinese and the English, and maybe give them a reward, if they use some English. Every time they use some English, they can get a treat, or they can, whatever. They can earn. Every time they say an English sentence, you can check off something on the board, and maybe they can earn some reward if they use English every week. Something like that. But make it passive and make it positive. Don't just give them homework. Homework is not the answer to learning. Okay, it's not. Homework is merely practice. But practice by itself is not. Practice requires passion for practice to be good. Anyone who practices without passion is not practicing well. So when you force a child to practice homework and they don't care and they don't want to do it well and they are not passionate, they're not going to learn. So why do you push them so hard if it's not even going to matter? Okay? Gray, I might be able to get some people on the stream, on stage. Just give me a minute. Okay, I want to try to get some questions answered in the chat first. Thank you, Cassie. I'm glad you like it. Esra, you don't understand the meaning of off the coast. Where did you see that, Esra? Off the coast would mean near the coast, like you're a boat, right? So, or maybe you'd say this island is off the coast of Belize. This island is off the coast of France, right? So if it's off the coast, it means that it's out in the ocean somewhere, but nearby that place. Okay? Can I send you the link of the live? What do you mean? You're in it. The dog looks pathetic in the heavy rain because he was abandoned by his owner. Yep, that's a good sentence. Speaking of which, let me put my dog outside one moment. You guys want to say hi to my dog? Come here, Libby. They want to say hi. Come here. Here, let me put the camera down. Come here. You gotta come closer. Come closer. Sit. Good. Good girl. Shake. Shake. This is Libby. And she needs to go outside. Let me just put her outside very quickly. Come on. Outside. No, this way. This way. Come here. Come on, Libby. Good girl. Okay, let's see. Hello, Nala. Here is a new one, emphatic. What about the word emphatic? Asians pay more attention to kids' education. Yeah, and that's good, but again, teaching someone is like building a fire, and there's a proper way to build a fire. And there are many ways that you can kill a fire by not building it properly. And all I'm saying is some people are in such a hurry to build a fire that they're building it the wrong way. Okay? It's good to care about education, but if you care about education so much, then why do you ignore all the data that tells you the best way to do it? China continues to teach their children that memorizing is the best way and that you should kill yourself when you're studying, that you should study so much that you're ready to pass out, right? And again, I understand the pressure. I get it, but how do I explain this? A dog can be forced to learn something, right? You can force a dog to, by beating it, by hitting it, by punishing it, you can force a dog to learn things. But you can also teach it to enjoy things. And when it enjoys things, it will do them better. So the big flaw in the Chinese system of education, and not just the Chinese system, this is the general flaw of every educational system in the world, is that anyone who learns with passion learns better. But many systems, many educational systems don't encourage passion in learning. Many educational systems kill passion. Okay? Some people say men without girlfriends like to keep dogs. Is that so? I think dog people like to keep dogs. I don't think it has anything to do with whether you have a girlfriend or not. If you like dogs, you're going to have a dog. I've had dogs most of my life. When I was single, I had a dog. When I wasn't single, I had a dog. I've had dogs that lasted longer than my girlfriends. Let's see. We're answering questions about English. So if you have questions about English, then ask me. Okay? All right, let's see. Gray, are you still there, Gray? Gray, are you busy? Okay, how about Ryan? Ryan, are you there? Hello? You have a corgi. I like corgis. You know, I'm not a. I like bigger dogs. I don't like a huge dog, but I like a bigger dog. A dog that you can kind of be a little rougher with and play with. But but I love a corgi. I love corgis. They're just so funny looking, and they've got such fun personality for a dog. So corgis are fun. I like corgis. If I had a small dog, it would be a corgi. Perfect as a verb and an adjective. So to perfect is the verb form. To perfect. Now, when you say that one, you have to put the accent on the second syllable. To perfect it, right? I want to perfect my homework. I want to perfect my writing. Okay? But if you say, now it's perfect, perfect means the adjective without flaw or 100% or excellent, right? Excellence. Okay? So to perfect is the verb and it is perfect is the adjective. All right? What do I think about learning English while sleeping? Good luck with that. Let me know how it goes. Sleep on an English book and tell me if that helps you. um, I have a problem when I think in English, I make correct sentences, but when I start speaking, sometimes I make grammar mistakes. That's normal. Um, the more you practice speaking, the more the thinking will become more matched, right? So it's normal to start to feel like you have. So, Ezra, the problem is many people think mistakes are something you're supposed to avoid. You're not supposed to avoid making mistakes. No. Okay? You're supposed to learn from your mistakes. There is no problem with making mistakes at all in learning. There's no problem. They're not wrong, they are opportunities to learn. Okay? So, uh, don't worry that you're making mistakes. Just figure out what the mistakes are and start being more aware of them. Okay? Mistakes are kind of like problem children, right? If your child is acting up, there's a reason why. 99% of the time that a child acts up, there is a reason why. They're mad about something, they're upset about something, they want some attention, they're not being disciplined enough. Something is wrong, but you have to figure out what is wrong. Just like a child that needs more attention from you, right? You need to give it attention so you can find the problem. Same thing with grammar. The more you use it, you'll find the problems. And when you find the problems, then you can figure out what's wrong. Okay? Why is the English language important? It's not important for everyone. It doesn't have to be important. It might be important to you. It might not. Okay? It is a global language that has great potential for communication and expression internationally. But that doesn't mean that you can't do that with other languages. It just happens to be that English is the most popular. Okay? You prefer little cats because you can pick them up easily, and cats are very gentle. Cats are not always very gentle. Well, I had a cat once that used to scratch me all the time. The word big is used in which situations? Liz, you can use big for all kinds of things. It's a big pizza. It's a big cup of coffee. It's a big T-shirt. It's a big car. Big is just a general term for something that's a large size, right? That's a big TV. Okay. You can also describe big to talk about the popularity of something. Rock and roll is big right now, or that movie is big right now, or Taylor Swift is big right now. Big in that case means popular. Thank you for the compliments, everyone. Are you ready or do you ready? Which sentence is right and why? It's are you ready? Um, so this is, see, now here is a perfect example. I want to show you how this type of question is perfect for ChatGPT. Wait, and I will show you. All right, let's see. Share my screen. So take a look. The correct sentence is, are you ready? Do you ready is incorrect. Why? Because ready is an adjective, not a verb. Okay? If I say do you, then do you like? Like is a verb, right? Do you want? Want is a verb. Do you need? Need is a verb. Ready is not a verb. Okay? So it's kind of like, in Chinese you'd say, 你准备好吗? But they don't use the word 是, right? There's no is. But in English, we use the is form of it, right? So are you ready is the same as 你准备好吗? Okay? So there, but look, this is a perfect example of a question for ChatGPT or DeepSeek, okay? In English, when we ask questions using adjectives like ready, happy, tired, hungry, we use the verb to be or not to be, right? Not do, right? So the correct structure would be I am ready, she is tired, they are happy, okay? Ready, tired, and happy, those are adjectives, okay? But if you say do you, then you need to use a verb, not an adjective, right? Got it? There you go. All right, but see, that was easy. You could have gone on to ChatGPT or DeepSeek and asked that question yourself. Okay? All right, let's see. Do I feel tired? No, not particularly. You want to know what are annotations? Share some thoughts about annotations? Okay. I will do that. So, Uh, what is a notation? What is a notation? Okay, what is a note? Missouri, what is a note? You know what that is, right? I'm going to write a note. A note is a notation. Okay, note is the simpler form of the word notation. Okay, excuse me. A notation is any kind of written thing. Let me make a notation just means make a note. Okay, annotation, an the an on the beginning of the word, it means to notate. Okay, to make a note, right? So annotations are written comments that go with the reading, right? So maybe you're reading some kind of a book or a scientific article or uh, something that is somewhat difficult, maybe. Usually annotations are used in something difficult to understand, right? And so they'll include an annotation so that you can go read that and say, oh, I see, there's a note that goes with this paragraph that will help me understand. Okay? So um, they're just explanatory notes, right? They're notes that help explain something about what you're reading. Okay? It's like a comment, a note. It could be an image, maybe a picture or something. Okay? Yeah, musical notation. When we write the word notation, when we talk about music, that means to write music. Okay? So, what is an annotation? It's basically just, some notes someone wrote that they thought you should read, or some information they thought you need that will help you understand what you're reading. Okay? That's what an annotation is. What's the difference between stamina and endurance? I think in many cases they are interchangeable. Let me check something. So I think the biggest difference, they are often used interchangeably. So many people use these interchangeably and they mean the same. But there is a significant difference in the meaning. Endurance is when you talk about your ability to sustain something for a long time. Um, so, like, not maybe your most effort, like a marathon. Is marathons require endurance? Okay, you're not running as fast as you can for the entire time. You're running at a moderate speed for a long time. Okay, that's endurance. Stamina is talking about your ability to have maximum effort for a short period of time. Um, so, weightlifting or sprinting, those are things that require stamina, right? So, stamina is supposed to be for intense, uh, high intensity efforts, things that are intense, that's for stamina. But for duration, for things that are long, that's endurance. That's why it has the word endure, duration, okay? The length of it, right? All right? So a sprinter has a high stamina because sprinting is a short run. But a marathon runner has a high endurance. Okay, that's the difference. Hello, Hamid. I'm glad you're here. I hope it's helpful. Okay, let's see. how can you use English as a native? You mean how can you speak like a native? Um, that's the wrong question. You don't want to speak like a native. You want to speak like a person who speaks well. Not everybody who's a native speaks well. There are 340 native, well, I should say 340 million Americans. Okay, um, not all of them speak really well. Okay, but if you want to speak English well, then you must have a plan to practice. Okay, so哈哈哈，现在每天你做什么英文的练习？你做什么练习？What practice do you do? You have to practice. You have to make a plan. 你有计划吗？You observed people talking with advanced vocabulary words, but other people can't even understand through their pronunciation. Okay? So, what's your question? You watched Hello Talk live streams every day. Okay, 这是很好，可是你需要比较多。You know, you need more. More. You can't just watch TV and expect to learn. You can't just watch a live stream and expect to learn. No. You need to practice your reading, your writing, your listening, your speaking, your thinking. You need to practice your grammar. You need to practice your vocabulary. You need to practice your pronunciation. Right? So, how are you practicing your pronunciation every day? What do you do? How are you practicing your reading every day? What do you do? How are you practicing your writing every day? What do you do? Bibliophile says, I want to speak English fluently. What do I do for this? Fluent doesn't exist. There is no such thing as fluency. Fluency means nothing. Forget the word fluent. That's what you should do. And remember, you want to speak English fluently, and what that means to you is you want to be able to speak English without thinking anymore, and you want to not have to do any more work. You want to be finished. You want to be finished with English. There is no finish in any language. When you learn a language, there is no finish. Some people feel or they think that fluent means you're finished. No, it doesn't. There is no such thing. Okay? And Newman says fluency means to speak English freely. Okay, it does. That's what fluency means. But my question is, you speak Chinese, Newman. If I ask you about astrophysics, can you explain astrophysics to me in great detail in Chinese? If I ask you about microbiology, can you explain microbiology to me in Chinese? If I ask you to explain modern avant-garde jazz music, can you explain that to me in Chinese? Probably not. So what does that mean? Does that mean you're not fluent in Chinese? So what I'm saying is nobody can speak freely about everything. No one can speak freely about everything. So this word fluent is a terrible word that makes you feel like there's an end to learning. There's not. So what you want is to be able to express yourself comfortably. That's what you want. And how can you do that? You have to live with the language. The problem is that you don't live with the language. You practice the language. If you only practice the language, then it will always be a long time. It will take you forever. But if you learn how to live with the language, then you will learn more quickly because you're learning all the time. Okay? So, my point is, forget about the idea of being fluent and instead work on being comfortable. That is a goal you can achieve. What is live with English? Okay, let me ask you a question. 我要问你一个问题。每天你用什么文里面你的脑，在你的脑里面你用什么文？每天你用中文还是英文？如果你每天用中文，这是你的问题。OK， 现在我住在美国，可是每天我可以用我的中文的脑，OK， 中文的脑。你需要用你的英文的脑，每天。如果你去商店，你可以用英文。如果你要做饭，你可以用英文。听得懂吗？如果你看电视，用英文；如果你去公园，用英文。Okay? That's what you have to do. Live with the language. That's what I'm doing. Okay? You have problems with vocabulary and syntax. Okay, so you need to work on your vocabulary. Do you have a plan to work on your vocabulary? Make one. You need to work on your grammar. Do you have a plan to work on your grammar? Make one. 你需要8个计划 Okay? Writing, reading, listening, speaking, grammar. I'm sorry. Writing, listening, reading, speaking, thinking, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. You need 8 plans. You need 8 plans to work on your English. All right? That's what I mean when I say you should live with English. Live with it. Don't just practice it when you pick up a book. Practice it when you're driving by listening to what's going on around you or by saying, how do I say that in English? How do I say that in English? What's that? 这个英文怎么说？这个英文怎么说？这个英文怎么说？如果你不知道，好，这是你的功课，你写。Okay? If you don't know how to say it, write it down. That's your homework. Okay? So, am I fluent in Chinese? No, I'm not fluent in Chinese. I am comfortable. I am comfortable. I'm not fluent. I don't want that word. I hate that word. I will continue to work on my Chinese until the day I die, and I'll continue to try to get better. That's all. Okay? Maybe you need to memorize some expressions, maybe because now you can only use simple sentences when you're expressing yourself. Simple is good. Simple is good. Albert Einstein said, if you can't explain it simply, then maybe you don't really understand. So simple is good. You don't always need things to be difficult. But toddlers can't write or say English. Yeah, they can. There are many kids that learn how to write when they're 2, 3. And there are many kids that learn how to speak words when they're 2, 3. Why did I choose to learn Chinese? Well, it's kind of a long story, but I went to teach English in Taiwan, and I did not want to be the guy who didn't know any Chinese, so I decided to learn. Okay? Does anyone here speak Arabic? I can say a few words. That's all I know. I can say about 10 words in Arabic. That's it. So no. In how much time can one be comfortable in English? That is impossible to answer. There are 8 billion people here. There are 8 billion answers to that question. Everybody is different. Okay? Everyone is different. Some people, it might be 3 months. Some people, it might be 3 years. Some people, it might be 30 years. Okay? You know, let me tell you something. In all my years of teaching, I meet so many people who ask the question, how long will it take? So on Monday, they ask me, how long will it take? And the next week on Monday, they ask me, how long will it take? And the next month, they ask me, how long will it take? And the next year, they ask me, how long will it take? But do you know what they don't do? They keep asking me how long it will take, but there's one thing they don't do. They don't start. It will always take longer if you don't start. So stop asking how long it will take. Just start. Okay? You think a key part of learning English is companion with native speakers. Newman, of course. Any language is like that. If you move to that country, it will be easier to learn that language. But that's such a silly thing to suggest because most people will never have that opportunity. So that means you have to find another way to solve this problem. If you don't have the ability to surround yourself with native speakers, then you must find another way to surround yourself with the language. And the way to do that is by changing the language in your mind. It doesn't matter where you live, it matters what language you think where you live. Okay? That's what matters. Okay? What language are you supposed to think if you go to the moon? Are you supposed to think in English? Are you supposed to think in Chinese? You can choose to think in any language because the moon doesn't have a language, does it? So that means land does not determine the language that you think in. You do. Okay? You don't know how to use thinking in English. Evan, 明天如果你肚子饿，你可以想 I'm hungry. 明天如果你很累，你可以想 I'm tired. 如果你要去商店，明天你可以想 I want to go to the store. 想简单的，你可以啊，试试看。Okay? All right. Can you speak with me about what? Where to begin learning English if you're at 0? You should start with 8 places. You need to start with simple reading. You need to start with simple writing. You need to start with simple listening, simple speaking, simple grammar, simple vocabulary, and simple pronunciation. Okay? And Newman says, thinking in the mind, you can't get feedback. That's true, but it's not important because that's not the goal. The goal is comfortability. And comfortability comes with time. So time is the big problem. Newman, if you know how to ride a bicycle and you are comfortable riding a bicycle, you became comfortable because you had enough time to practice. If you swim and you're comfortable swimming, you became comfortable swimming because you had enough time to practice. But as you already said, you don't have enough time to practice with natives because there are no natives. So you have to find another way to make up the time. That's what's most important. Okay, because guess what? If you speak with natives, that doesn't mean they're going to correct you. If you speak with natives, that doesn't mean that they are right. They may speak poorly. So again, this idea that the only way to do it is if you surround yourself with natives who are perfect speakers, I hope you have a magic wand, because that's not going to happen without one. All right? So, if you make mistakes when you're thinking, that's okay, because mistakes are okay. Mistakes are how you learn. Make mistakes so that you can make progress. When you make a mistake, you will find it. You will know it. You will learn it. But if you never make a mistake, you never have the opportunity to learn. Okay? Learning happens much faster when you're willing to make mistakes. Okay? Lucky says, I memorize English words very slowly and I forget them quickly, even if I even doubt if I have linguistic talent. Lucky, no, your problem is that you're using a poor method of learning. Memorizing is the worst way to learn. Okay? When you memorize words, basically what you're doing is let's say you have a new word like, I don't know, the word is beautiful, okay? And you want to learn the word beautiful. So you write the word beautiful 10 times or 50 times, and that's memorizing. And you say the word beautiful 50 times, and that's memorizing. That is kind of like if you and I go out to lunch together, and you're sitting across the table from me, and we could have a discussion. We could talk, but we're not going to talk. Instead, I'm just going to look at you, Lucky, and I'm going to say your name 50 times. I'm going to look at you and I'm going to say, Lucky, 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 Lucky. Would that be a good way to get to know a person? No, it's not. You have to ask the person questions. Where are you from? What do you do? How did you get here? Right? Those are questions you can ask a person. You can also ask those questions to words. And when you learn more information about a word, when you interact with a word in a deeper way, you will remember it. So the problem is, memorizing is shallow learning. You need deep learning. Shallow learning is forgotten easily. It goes in one ear and comes right out the other one. Okay? Developing your mind is about making many connections. The more connections you can make to something in different ways, associations, levels, angles, how many ways can I look at this one thing? The more you can do that, the more you'll know it. But when you do memorization, basically you're looking at it and you only want to find one way and you're going to only use that one way and that's it. And that's why it doesn't work. It's too shallow. Okay? Can I say spouse to refer to my husband or is only for wife? No, spouse is neutral. Yeah. Can I make us relax a little bit with playing some instruments by myself? I can't right now because my drums and everything are not connected to my computer right now because of all the technical problems I've been having recently. So no, I can't do that right now. I'm sorry. You can understand almost everything I'm saying, but you can't understand Michael Jackson. Well, so you can understand what I'm saying for many reasons. One reason is because I am an English teacher, Jandis. So it is my job to speak well. It is my job to speak at a speed that can be understood. It is my job to pronounce words correctly. It is my job to choose the right vocabulary for my audience. Um, these are things that I pay attention to. But most people, when they speak, they are not careful at all about how they speak. They don't think about their vocabulary. They don't think about their pronunciation. They don't think about their speed or volume or intonation. These are all things that I do think about. That's one reason you understand me. Okay? And also, I use great equipment, so it sounds really good when you hear me. Okay? Hello, Teacher Steph. What's the best way to study grammar? The best way to study grammar is to get a good grammar book, okay, which there are many, many, many of them, but you should find one that you like, one that seems interesting to you. And that's hard to do because grammar is boring. But there is one that I recommend. It's called Basic English Grammar by Saddleback Publishing. I really need to get them to give me a deal. This book is great, but also the other best way to learn grammar now is just with ChatGPT. Tell ChatGPT, I'm learning English. I need to learn English grammar. Please help me learn basic English grammar. And it will. It will create an entire program of learning for you. Okay? If you are not finding AI to be useful to you, it's probably because you are not using it well. If you are not finding AI to be useful, it's not the problem of AI. The problem is that you don't know how to use it well. Okay? I want to take a walk or I want to have a walk. Take a walk would be the most common form. Let me think of a situation where have a walk might... So this is another example of where take a walk is definitely the correct answer, and it's the one that we use most often. But if you said, I'm going to have a walk, would you like to have a walk with me? I don't think that anybody would find that to be too problematic. Okay? So, take a walk is the correct answer. But remember that language is not about right and wrong. Language is about communication. So, if I want to say, do you want to have a walk with me? I can! It's right if I choose to make it right. That is how language is. Language is determined by the user. That's how rules are written. Rules are written based on what we do. There's not some language god who determined what things are right and wrong. No, language is a living thing, and it changes based on how we use it. Okay? Hello, Amy. When can you use fathom in a sentence? Fathom is a word we don't use too often. It can have a few different meanings. So for one would be, I can't fathom why you would do this. Just as a way to say I don't understand. I can't understand why. A fathom is a deep distance, right? It's a depth. Okay, how many fathoms is it? Is a way they used to talk about, like, submarines going underwater. So, when you say, can you fathom this, or I can't fathom this, it's like saying I can't understand because I can't go that deep, right? I can't Even with my deep understanding, I can't see how this is possible. That's what I can't fathom this would mean. Okay? Can you practice oral English with AI? You can. Very effectively. Yes. Will I add some grammar in my book? I think I'm going to have a chapter about the problems with English grammar. I want to include at least one small chapter that talks about what problems I think English grammar has and how those problems need to be resolved, how English grammar needs to be adjusted and adapted and evolved for modern usage. English grammar has not been greatly changed in the last 100 years, but it needs to be. It's still taught like it's a native language only. It is an international language, and now it should be written for an international audience. The rules and the grammar and the language should be written for an international audience, not for a domestic native audience. Okay? You used to learn many English tenses, but when you communicate, you just use simple present. Well, again, the majority of the time we speak, we do only use a few tenses. You know, we don't use all of them all the time. So there are certain tenses that are more common that you should focus on more. Could I repeat about practicing language with AI? Faruza, go to ChatGPT and tell it you want to practice language. Just tell it exactly what you're telling me. Tell it you want to work on your English and you want to develop a plan for learning English, that you need to work on your writing and your reading and your listening and your grammar and your vocabulary and your speaking. It will do all of that for you if you tell it to. Okay? Deepthi, we know grammar rules, but what are we not able to use while speaking? I don't think I understand your question. Can you ask me again? So you should go to ChatGPT and just tell it, I need to work on my language, my English language. Can you help me develop a plan for learning? And it will. Okay? Just start with that. Okay? You know, ChatGPT, I think part of the problem is you guys are looking at ChatGPT like it's just something that can give you an answer. It's something that you can sort through the information. You can discuss it. Ask it one thing, have it give an answer, then ask it something else, right? Question it. Okay? That's how you'll find the best information. Don't you think that HelloTalk is slowly dying because more and more people prefer to practice language with AI than with each other? I don't think they prefer to practice with AI. I think they prefer to practice with people. But I think that HelloTalk does have a big problem because they have not done enough to figure out good ways to encourage people to want to actually talk to each other. There are things they could do, but they don't. They're just treating it like a typical social media model, right? So, for example, if you want people to speak more to each other, for example, if you want native English speakers to speak to more Chinese people, then you should reward them for doing so. So every time they have messages with Chinese people and they talk and they, maybe earn some credit by talking to these people, right? And so then now they have more time on the app because they talked to someone. right? So they need to develop a system that encourages people to actually want to help each other, but they don't do that. But your question is about, is HelloTalk dying because of AI? No, I don't think they're in any danger of that necessarily. I do think they need to consider AI more and figure out how to integrate it rather than be put out of business by it. And I think they're trying to do that. Creativity is not always the strong suit of people in tech. I hate to say that, but it's true. I have found this to be very true sometimes, that they are not very good at thinking outside of the box, or they solutions are things that they see in very standard ways, in which case they don't solve problems. They only solve problems in standard ways, and some problems need to be solved in non-standard ways. Hello, Teacher Mike. Good to see you, man. How are you? Yeah, I use ChatGPT every single day for many things. So many things. Yeah, right? So Mike said he's using ChatGPT to help him create a learning plan for Korean because he can't afford classes, and it's pretty detailed. That's what I'm saying. ChatGPT is as good as you are. What that means is if you ask it the right question, then it will give you amazing answers. But if you don't ask it the right question, then it won't. Okay, so if you ask it to help you develop a plan, and you ask it the right way, it will help you, and it will do a great job. But if you just say, teach me English, that won't work. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that prompt writing should be a class. That should be a new class that should teach in school for AI, is how to write a proper prompt to get AI to do what you want it to do. Because the prompt is what's so important. If you have a good prompt, you'll get a fantastic answer. If you have a terrible prompt, you'll get a terrible answer. Newman says, in my country, we can't use ChatGPT. So use DeepSeek. 都可以, 随便, 这是差不多. They're the same. Who cares? It will be fine. Use DeepSeek then. It's okay. Okay? Doesn't matter. Where am I? I'm in the United States. Nothing says DeepSeek is better. Again, that's like arguing about rock and roll or jazz. Which one is better? They're both great. They're different. It's a silly argument to talk about which one of these awesome tools is better. Don't argue about which awesome tool is better. Use them both. Which tool is better, this hammer or this saw? Oh, this hammer is much better than this saw. That's what you sound like. Use them both. Instead of arguing about, is the hammer better than the saw? How about you use both hammer and saw? Okay? You went to Charleston last month? No, I am far away from Charleston. That's in the south. I live in Ohio. 这是在美国中部。如果你知道芝加哥，我就是大概五个5个小时. It's about 5 hours away, north, Chicago. If you go to Chicago, you can go south 5 hours and you'll find me. Okay? Watching movies without Chinese subtitles is a good way to study English, is it? Uh, Watching movies without Chinese subtitles is good. Watching movies with English subtitles is good. But watching movies with an English transcript is the best. Go to the internet and type in the word transcript and then type in the name of your favorite TV show or movie. So maybe you want to watch Friends. Okay? Type in the word Friends, type in the word transcript, and then see how many websites come up that have free transcripts for all of those TV shows and movies. What is a transcript? A transcript is basically like the subtitles, but it's printed out, so now you can hold it in your hands and make notes, Alan. That is much, much better. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, guys. Don't do that. You're thirsty. Come in here. Sorry. Come in here. There's water over there. Come over here. Drink your water. Come here. Drink your water. Here. Go ahead. Drink up. Sorry, my dog had to come in. So, if you have a transcript, you can make notes. You can circle the vocabulary you like. You can circle the vocabulary you don't know. You can make notes about the things that you don't understand. So, if you want to learn English by watching TV and movies, then you need to get the transcript. Okay? My Chinese is okay. It's good enough. It's good enough for me. I'm working on it. It's still, I'm not finished. But you can understand me. That's what's most important, right? So there are many times when I speak where I'm sure that my Chinese grammar is not quite right, or maybe that the way I say it is not the way a native person would say it. But do I care? No. The only thing that I care about is, did you understand what I was trying to communicate? That's all I care about. Life is not a test, certainly not a language test. Okay, the only language test in life is, did you understand? Okay, if they understood you, then you passed. Okay? More tips for movies and TV shows. Okay, then the other tip I would say for movies and TV shows is choose content that is useful to you. I like movies about dragons and I like movies about space aliens and time travel, but those movies don't have content that's very useful to your language learning. So choose movies that have content about friends and family and work and life and real world things, because that language will be more useful to you. Then choose movies or TV shows that have language, that have accents and pronunciation and ability and level that you want. Okay? So there are many TV shows that use common English when they speak, which is not the same as proper or formal English. And there are some TV shows that the language is so localized that it's not good for you to learn. Okay, there are certain TV shows that I would say are good shows, but they're not good for you learning English. Okay? Like 8 Mile is a good movie, but it's not good for learning English. Okay? So, choose TV shows or movies that have content that's good. Choose TV shows and movies that have people who speak the way you want to speak. okay? And find people who speak well. That's important. Okay? Did I miss anything over here? I didn't. Okay. Before I forget, guys, if you don't know this already, you can follow me on, here is my website. Go to my website, sign up to my website. If you're studying English, everything you need to study English for free is on my website. If you just subscribe. Okay? There are many, many, many resources for reading, for writing, for listening, for speaking, for grammar, for vocabulary. It's all on my website. So go to my website and subscribe. And you can also go to my YouTube and you can watch my YouTube videos, okay? Which I will have more of hopefully shortly. You watched a 9-year-old boy who had a wonderful American accent. His English inspired you. Any tips to get a better accent? You have to understand what an accent is. What is an accent? Accent is how you move your mouth. So when you learn a language, every language has mouth movements that you must learn. Okay? And your accent is because you're speaking English grammar and English vocabulary, but you're using the mouth movements from your language. That's what gives you an accent. So your mouth movements are what you need to work on. And for people living in India, Hindi and the other languages in India, most of them have a very small mouth when they speak. Okay? And so Chinese people and Indians, I tell both of them, when you speak English, you must learn how to open your mouth bigger. People don't understand you because your mouth is too small when you speak. Your words are not clear because you don't open your mouth enough to make them clear. Okay? My words are clear because my mouth is open. Your words are not clear because your words are not open. Do you see how this works? If you don't open your mouth, then your words are not very clear. But if you open your mouth, then your words become very clear. Okay? Can I imitate the accent of India? No, not really. There are many accents in India, first of all. But it wouldn't be useful because it would just be faking. It's not real, right? But I can tell you that the Indian languages all generally have a small mouth when they speak. And it's why many people have trouble understanding Indians when they speak English, because their mouth is not opening enough and then they speak too quickly. If you combine those two things, it becomes really hard to understand. Okay? So practice your vowels. If you live in China or live in India, you need to practice your vowel sounds. A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. Big A, E, I, O, U. Or A, E, I, Look, every mouth position is different. When I do it, it looks different. A, I, O. All of those look different. But when you do them, they don't look different because your mouth is not open enough to make them different. Okay? You think when you speak English you have to push your whole face. You do, right? 如果我说中文，我需要想用好小的口. Okay? If I speak Chinese, I have to use a small mouth. Same thing. Okay? That's what I do. When I first started learning Chinese, I used a big mouth, and it sounded weird, and people couldn't understand me. You know? 你好,很高兴认识你. It's weird when you use a big mouth, but if you say it small, 你好,很高兴认识你, it sounds much better. Okay? Every language has mouth movements that you must learn. And American English is a big mouth language. Big mouth. You have to use big vowels. Okay? Thank you, Cassie. You're from Morocco, but you can still understand the Indian accent better than the American accent. But that's because, Belle, the Indian accent and the Arabic accent have some similarities. There are certain similarities. For example, the Arabic R sound and the Indian R sound are similar. Right? So that's why. Because when you speak English, your accent is actually not that different than an Indian accent. The Arabic accent and the Indian accent, there are some people who they almost sound exactly the same. Okay? What do I think about watching news in English? Sure, of course. It's good. Of course. Do I think Indian people don't speak softly? No, I haven't found that to be true at all. Americans do not speak in a soft tone. Americans are generally a pretty loud, we're boisterous, we're loud. Everybody knows we're loud, right? So no, I don't think we're soft when we speak. We are diplomatic when we speak, but we also can be very direct sometimes. So, but no, I know lots and lots of Indian people. Some of them speak softly and some of them do not. What I do know about Indian people, here's one big tip I will give you if you live in India. There are a couple of cultural differences that are very important for you to understand if you live in India and you're learning English. One of them is the word sir, and the other one is the word bro. Okay? In Indian culture, it is very common to use the word bro all the time, or to use the word sir all the time. Yes, sir, I'd like to know more about this, sir. And please, sir, can you help me with this more, sir? And sir, I have another question, sir. That's common in India. But if you say it here, it sounds weird. It sounds like you're my slave, and I don't want you to be my slave. So if you want to use the word sir, you can, and you should, but don't say it at every sentence. You need to say it in the beginning and at the end, or during any important moment, maybe. But you don't need to say it with every single sentence, but I know many Indians who speak that way. Yes, sir, I think that's very good, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your help, sir. I really don't know what else to do, sir. Sir, 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 sir. It's too many sirs. Okay, but also, in Indian language, the word bro, brother, is common. They use it all the time. Brother, can you help me with this? Brother, can you do this for me? Brother, 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 brother. And the sentiment is good. The sentiment is good, but it does not translate well to English. So many Indians, they come here and they say, hey, bro, how are you, bro? It's nice to meet you, bro. Bro, 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 bro. Both sir and bro are only to be used at some important moments. And bro is only a word that I use with my friends. I do not use bro to talk to people that I don't know. It's considered kind of rude here. If you call someone bro and they don't know you, they might get upset and say, I'm not your brother. Don't call me bro. Okay? So, sir and bro. You can use them, but know when to use them. Okay? It's nice to meet you, sir. I really appreciate this opportunity. I will do everything I can to work as hard as I can to be a good employee for you. Thank you so much for this opportunity, sir. I said it in the beginning and I said it at the end, but I did not say it in every single sentence. Okay? And then bro, like I said, I think some people, you think you sound more native if you use the word bro all the time, but you don't. You sound immature. Okay? Children use the word bro. If you want to sound like you're 12, then say bro a lot. But I don't say bro all the time because I'm not 12. Okay? All right, I need to go here soon. India has tons of languages. Yes, I know. I'm familiar with quite a few of them. Or, I mean, not familiar like I can speak them, but I've studied a little bit about many of them. But, Vivek, they all do share one quality that's similar, which is that nearly all of them, they have a small mouth in the movements of the linguistics. Okay, the linguistic movements are small in nearly all of them. Okay? Especially us New Yorkers. Yeah, we're loud. We're loud people. Being direct has gotten me in trouble a few times. Me too, especially in Asia. Yeah, that would see, this is what I mean. When I went to Asia, I had to learn how to adjust my language and my way to fit with their culture. Right? And there were times when I did not do that well. I didn't understand the differences. Okay? You want to see me play the drums? I know I would like to, but I'm having a lot of equipment problems recently that don't allow it, don't make it possible, unfortunately. But hopefully my mixer will be fixed soon, and when my mixer is fixed, then I will hopefully be able to play music again. Is it true that Americans don't call each other by their names? No. We do. I call my brother is Brian, my sister is Janie, the guys in my band, John, Ed, Jim. No, we use our names, of course. My English is understandable because you're not speaking fast. Is that right? That's part of it. I do try to speak more slowly because I'm teaching and because it's more effective. But it's also because I am careful with my words. Movies and TV are not language learning tools. Movies and TV are entertainment only. They're not designed to teach you. Okay? How about buddy? Again, Ghost, you can use some words like buddy or dude or friend or pal or, whatever. But don't use them too often. And we are familiar that sometimes when you use a word like buddy, it's because you don't remember their real name. And so you should be careful because maybe they'll call you out on that, right? You'll say, oh, hey, buddy, it's good to see you again. And maybe they'll think, oh, that he doesn't remember my name. Or she doesn't remember my name, right? So words like buddy or pal or friend are okay when you're with your buddy or your pal or your friend. But I wouldn't use them with lots of random people, okay? In Taiwan, what words do you use to greet? Ni hao. Usually. How did I learn Mandarin? Self-taught, mostly. Thank you, Taisei. But when you see Marvel, they don't seem like they're opening their mouths more. Well, once again, movies are not for learning. Movies are for entertainment. You are trying to compare something about language, you're trying to talk about something about language that wasn't for language. Okay? Hello, Belen. Good to see you. Hugs. You've heard that Americans are kind of cold and not showing affection. Is that true? No, I don't think that's true at all. I think that very much depends on the person and the family. You know, almost all of my friends and family are pretty affectionate, not cold at all. We say I love you a lot. We hug a lot. But do I know some people who are not affectionate and don't say I love you and are kind of cold? Sure. But that's very individual, and I would think that those people exist everywhere. There are people in Brazil who are cold and don't show affection. There are people in China who are cold and don't show affection, just like there are people who are very affectionate in all of those places, right? When someone calls me buddy, I think they feel like I'm a dog. Yeah, we do kind of call our animals names like that. Yeah. You call sir in the beginning to give respect to their age. Right. But I'm just saying, I've spoken to a lot of Indians, and there are times when Indians use the word sir, and it's like they can't control it. Honestly, there are some times I have spoken to a few people in India who clearly that's how they speak all the time in their real daily life, because they don't have control over the word sir. They just use it all the time. You thought watching movies and series is the best way to learn? No. When you ask me what's the best way to learn, there's a big problem with your question. Your question assumes that there is one answer. Your question assumes that there's one way that's the best way. No, silly. If you have two people and they both have to study for a test, okay? They're both studying for an English test. One of them is studying with only TV and movies. They're just watching TV and movies. That's how they're studying for their test. And the other person is studying with using books and videos and apps and TV and friends and movies and tutors and live streams and videos. They have every tool. And this person has TV and movies. Which one is better? So when you say, what's the best way to learn? The best way to learn is every way. The best way to learn is every way, not one way. Okay? I have a dog. Yes. Watching movies is good for listening practice, of course, if you watch the right movies. Not every movie is good for listening practice. Okay? I'm asking $13 per session. I'm asking more than that. Bharat, do you know how much America costs? And do you know how much experience I have as a teacher? Life is expensive here. Also, Indonesians call foreigners Mr. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's okay too. Am I slowing down? You mean when I speak? Yeah, 有一点. Yeah. 如果我说英文，我说慢一点，因为我觉得很多人可以听我比较好。How to improve your listening. So get the subtitles. It's called a transcript. Get the transcript. Get the transcript, get the transcript, get the transcript, and then you can study. Okay? You can learn better. You'll improve your listening if you can read it also. Okay? Yeah, life in the US is very expensive. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, check out my site and you'll see everything, okay? If you can afford it, great. If you can't, I understand, but don't tell me I'm too expensive because I'm definitely not. Okay? Um, in life, you get what you pay for. I am one of the #1 recommended teachers on this app. I'm not going to apologize for wanting to be paid. Especially because guess what? How much money am I being paid right this moment, Mike? So yeah, it's $13 for a half an hour, but how much am I being paid now? Are you paying me right now? I've been here for 2 hours. Did you pay me? You did not. So, consider that. Okay? That's right, Mike. Thank you, Benjamin. All right, I need to go, everybody. Let's see. Amanda has one more question. What advice do I have for someone who's starting to understand spoken English? Where should you start? Let's see. Amanda, I would say, again, I think AI would be a very good tool for you. You can practice speaking simple conversations, right? Have simple conversations with AI, with ChatGPT. Tell ChatGPT you are a beginner in English and you want to have a basic English conversation. Please help me and correct me when I make mistakes. And it will. Okay? And you can do this with typing or speaking. Okay? It can speak as well. All right? So that would be one thing. Then I think I would find some resource that you like, right? A podcast, a live stream, a movie, a TV show. Choose something, right? Like maybe you have one episode of your favorite TV show, and I want you to watch it 100 times. You need to choose one show that you can watch a lot so that your ears can focus. If you keep changing the things that you listen to, then you keep changing your ability for your ears to learn, right? So if you give your ears something to listen to consistently, it will consistently learn. But if you keep changing every time, it doesn't have an opportunity to learn. So I think that you should choose a TV show or a movie or a podcast or a live stream, something, a video that you like, and watch it a lot so that you can start to understand more. Okay? Will I give you my 15 years of experience in a meeting? Yeah. That's the way experience works. Okay? Play the symbol on checkout? Sure. All right, I gotta go. I really do. So I'll see you guys see you guys next time. What is this? No, Mike, I don't know what you were saying that you thought was wrong, but no, you're fine. Yeah, look, guys, again, I understand that in your country, sometimes maybe it seems like it's expensive, but please remember that I don't live in your country. Okay? So have some perspective. If I go to McDonald's, it's more than $13. Am I worth more than McDonald's? I think yes. So, yeah. All right, I gotta go. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Mike, thanks for coming. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I always see your streams and stuff, and I'm so glad to still see that you're doing well and you're thriving. And it's always nice to see you come in my rooms. I appreciate that very much. So take care. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening. And I'll see you guys next time, okay? Bye-bye, everyone.